knowledge acquaintance and acquisition. One is the access theory and second is the acquaintance theory. Acquaintance theory, according to the modern schools of epistemology, it denotes that we have to newly acquaint with each and every element of observation or objective desire, and by means of our connectivity, the inner characteristic nature out of its infinity, characteristic infinity. Each and every element has characteristic infinity. First we have to understand that. If you take a flower or if you take a metal, if you take any element in any part of the world, they are having innumerable characters which are far beyond the accessibility, far beyond the intelligibility of any human mind. Out of this characteristic infinity, where they can be productive, what they can be their applications, and how it can be related, on the basis of the ideology and methodology of utilizing and understanding the resources, compositions, configurations, as well as their various interconnectivities and mutuality and their symbiotic immanence and significance, we have to take some parts and parcels or fragments from the characteristic infinity. According to Shastras, there is characteristic infinity, that is Ananta. From that infinity, whenever on context, whenever on various other compulsions or necessities of the circumstances, we are getting those things revealed. If you understand about magnetism something today, it does not mean that it is infinity or it is a completion. We have understood only about that parcel today. After a few years, we may understand something more. Scientific understanding may reveal more. Simple understanding may reveal more. Spiritual understanding may reveal more. So, the first school of thought of epistemology are getting knowledge that says that it is acquaintance theory, that you have to see, observe, continuously observe, persistently observe with curiosity, then notify, which will initiate your cognitive drill. Then that cognitive drill will reveal interrelativity by means of a quality which is very much not known to people, known as serendipity. It is a scientific term of serendipity. Accidentally, something observed, it clashes with a revelation whenever a similar thought is done or a similar observation is made or a similar element is seen. So, any other object, any other action or any other similar in incidental and elemental structure will accidentally reveal like a eureka. Like something is to be revealed. It is known as serendipity. So, incidental, coincidental and accidental inhalation of a person's cognitive drill is known as the acquaintance theory as per science. Science says that there is nothing known to you, you can acquaint by observation, by subjecting yourself to various circumstances. Whereas spirituality says you know everything, because you, it refers to a cognizant soul, a blazing radiant soul, which has an inseparable character of absolute knowledge. So, soul is sarvagya, satchita ananda. That chit here refers to blemishless, uninterrupted knowledge which has been clouded by fog of illusion. So, this spirituality says you have everything, but you have to access to it. So, accessing something already available is the spiritual definition for knowledge. Acquainting by observation and physical connectivity and drilling inside, by which we can get and expand our knowledge, is modern epistemology and its definition. So, whenever we come to the spiritual definition, there are two problems. One is sankocha, second is vikasa, expansion. Whenever we are subjected to the same drill of knowledge, we are getting these two major problems. Due to the illusory deviation, due to the transient aberration, we are subjected to a contraction of our own knowledge, by which we are getting into either ignorance or into suspicion or into oblivion or into false apprehension or into self or external deceptions. It is known as sankocha. Then after getting into contact with spiritual reality by meditations, external influence like preceptors and other people, we are getting the vikasa. So that which is devoid of the sankocha and vikasa, that which is totally free from any blemish, there are only two things. One is the Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and second is the Veda, the scriptures. They are eternally free from the blemish of contraction and expansion, and they are highly available, readily available, uninterruptedly, turbulently available torrential flow of blemishless knowledge for us. So Vedas, you know that there are innumerable Vedas. Shakantara, Vidhagantara, Lokantara, Vishayantara, Tattvantara. Innumerable Anantavi Veda, so says the Kataka Shruti. The Vedas that we are dealing with, is entirely different from Vedas which are read by the seers. For example, Brahma is also having a Veda that is known as the Srishti Veda that deals with the cosmogenetic engineering and cosmogonic engineering of spatial and spatial designs. Whatever we are now narrating need not be the Veda of Brahma. So each and everybody, based on the lokas, based on their own performance, based on their duty and conscience, they are given the portions of Vedas. So whatever we are reading, it is a portion of Vedas. Number one. Number two, even the Vedas, they are capable of having one great quality that is known as Pratibha Utpatti Athava Nutana Utpatti. Whenever you are approaching the Vedas, as per the Kala, Purushartha and Ichcha, they reveal new meanings. For example, Kala. Now we are in Kali Yuga. Now nobody is interested in Agni Shomiya, Vajapaya, Pashupata, Shodati, Grahana, Atiratra. Those things have become obsolete now. The same thing in this period, if it is interpreted along with its own metaphorism, interpreted something ritual as a deed of bravery, a deed of commitment and service to the society, we can interpret the same thing for the contemporary situation. That is Kala. Second is Purushartha, what we want. Depending upon our desire, we can interpret the Vedas. Depending upon the period and contemporary relevance, we can interpret the Vedas. Depending upon a person's personal desire and approach, we can interpret. So, personal desire or the fruit that is ambitious, the person is very much ambitious. The third thing is the contemporary situation. Based on a person's desirous approach, based upon a person's destinal approach, based upon a person's temporal environment, we can design and shape the Vedas, provided that we are guided with the tools. Amputation and surgery is just nothing but cutting off the place and stitching it back. Cutting and stitching is a simple word, but you cannot do it like just cut and stitch as you are doing with cloths and cutting vegetables. That requires surgical skill as well as surgical tools and more vigilant and meticulous scale of governance of circumstances as well as the things that have been governed by the medical prudence. So it requires a systematic skill that is also associated with the tools and their precision values. Likewise, for fashioning the Vedic wisdom, for expanding the Vedic wisdom, for removing the metaphorical tint as well as the other tints and types of obscurity, ambiguity, polylateralism, multilateral entry, multilateral interpretation, Vedas are having a lot of problems. Those problems are nothing but the reflection of our inability on the Vedas. Vedas are super able and they are highly capable. If we are facing any problems with Vedas, we have to understand that they are our insufficiencies and empiricism by which we are not able to handle the Vedic situations. In order to remove all of these hurdles, Angas, various other portions and supportive tools have been bestowed by the same God, by a parampara known as the inspiration lineage. There are two things. One is the revelation lineage, second is the inspiration lineage. Revelation lineage is known as Shrauta Parampara, which deals with the various people of Paila, Vaishambhayana, Yagyavalkya, Jaimini, and various other schools of Vedic recensions are there which are known as Shakas. We are having Aitareya Shaka, Kaushitiki Shaka, Sankhayana Shaka, Ashwarayana Shaka, Balla Shaka and Bhaskara Shaka. All of these things are Rigveda. Then we are having the same Vaishambhayana tradition as well as the Krishna Yajurveda, Taitriya Samhita, Maitrayana Samhita, Kanda Samhita, Madhyantana. For the Shukla Yajurveda, Gautama Ranayaniya, Sautrayaniya, all the traditions are available for Sama, Pipalada, Shaunaka. These things are available for the other. This is the first lineage. The second lineage is given by the Purana Kartas and Smriti Karas. What is the difference between Smriti and Purana? The Shastra says that Prayena Puru Bhagartha Puranam Dharmashastra Itihasa Puranabhyam Vedantartha Prakashate. There are two wings of the Vedas. One is Aradhana Swarupa, second is Aradhya Swarupa. What is Aradhana Swarupa? How to worship God and how to deal with the service of God. So the services are explained in the first portion, and the person to whom we serve, his nature and his Swarupa Rupa Guna Vibhuti Vaibhava Gunanubhava is explained in the second portion. First thing is Karma Swarupa or Aradhana Swarupa. Second thing is Aradhya Swarupa. The methodology of worship is explained in the first portion. And the paraphernalia and the status of the person who is worshipped, the Brahman, is well explained in the second portion. And these explanations have been further elucidated by Dharmashastras and Itihasa Purana. Prayena Purva Bhagartha Puranam Dharmashastra Itihasa Puranabhyam Vedantartha Prakashate. By understanding the nuances, the complexities, the intricacies, the depths, the deviations, dimensions of the Vedic insights that is there in the Vedantic lore, God has given the provision of Itihasa Puranas by which we can understand the real meaning of the Veda. So that is a supportive limb That is an ontoprosthetic tool that has been conveyed and bestowed upon these human beings for understanding the Vedic law, for proper use, perfect transformation, and for the procedural approach to reach that salvation or liberation, which is the ultimate purpose of the Vedanta. So we have to understand Itihasa Puranas are nothing but the explanation of the Uttara Bhaga of the Vedas. And there are a lot of schools of thought in the modern tradition of theism. They say that Itihasa Puranas are written by somebody else and they don't have any tradition at all. They are all Nutana Kalpita. They are all just fabulous, made by somebody else, like that it is like a fabricated fictional story or a fable like that. It's not like that. Even the Vedas, they have Itihasa Puranam Panchamam. In the Chandogya Upanishad, in the Madhurya Prakarana, Narada is saying Itihasa Puranam Panchamam. The four Vedas should be assisted by interpretation, interception, internal analytical studies, both for the recension, recitation, as well as the ritualization and realization. It should be adhered and affiliated to the supportive tool of Itihasa Purana. There is also a statement from Manu where he says, Vibhetyalpa Shrutat Vedo Mamayam Pradeshati Itihasa Puranabhyam Vedam Samupabhrahmayet. One should explain the Vedic scriptures only with the help of the explanatory tools. Any person without having the tools of explanation or magnification, if he approaches the Vedas are afraid of the person because the person may pollute or deviate the real lore of the Vedas. Bibheti Alpashrutat Vedo Mamayam Pratarishadi. Such a person, he is a terrorist before the Vedas. So he is a Vedic terrorist who is not having any proper supporting tools for the interpretation of the Vedas. This is the first meaning we have to understand. And number two, what are the contents of this Itihasa Purana? What is the difference between Itihasa and Purana? Itihasa iti Itihasa. Pura api navamiti yatrochate tat Puranam syat. Itihasa, a person who has visually experienced and internally also experienced each and inch of the truthful happening along with the purpose as well as the destination as well as the perpetual cycle of impact and cause. Such a person's revelation is known as Itihasa. The person should have been directly blessed, directly sanctioned, directly authenticated and authorized to do that work. He must have seen the act, he must have foreseen the act, he must have rewinded and re-seen the same thing in his mental screen. The person should have seen the same thing with its causative factor, conducting factor, completion factor, impact factor and the perpetual cycle of mutual lineage between Karya Karana, Moola Karana, then Karya, Karyasya Karana, Karanasya Karya. Like that the person should have the knowledge of everything. If for example, we can take Ramayana. If you take Ramayana, then Valmiki is a person who is well qualified so that he has seen the characters of Ramayana. Due to the special sanction given by the Brahma, he captivated everything by an inner vision, each and everything, each and hasitam bhashitam chaiva. We think that he saw something, he heard something and the rest of the thing he filled up the blanks and written something out of his poetic imagination and his license. It is not so. Hasitam bhashitam chaiva. Each and every inch of emotional movement, each and every inch of incidental movement, each and every inch of action that has been done by the characters, what they thought of thinking and executing, what they executed, what they thought and not executed. So all these gaps of insufficiency, inefficiency, latent, premature, post-mature, futile, utility, everything has been observed by a person. He has done, he has not done, he was planning to do, and everything, hasitam bhashitam chaiva. So various other emotions, sensations, feelings, proposals, actions that affect various other things. What are all logical strategy and statistical formalities that are required for composition of a life story, everything was envisioned by Valmiki and is written that with a very great diligence and arduous risk. Out of the transcendental gift that has been bestowed by him, bestowed by this Brahma, also bestowed by Narada upon this Valmiki. So we have to understand Itihasa means a person who has envisioned, a person who has relished, experienced the revelations, the accurate, axiomatic, self-evidential revelations of even the minutest sensational emotions of the characters of a play will be revealed by Itihasa. Puranas are brought out by lineage. It is being told by the particular person. There are three levels of Puranas. One is compilation. The first thing is compilation. Second thing is narration. Then the third thing is personal narration. Personal narration or subjection is different from narration. For example, if there is a story of Rahugana, if there is a story of Vaishampayana, if there is a story of the birth of Narada, those stories are told by the characters themselves. It is not a self-narrative. They come under the self-narrative proportions of the Puranas. Second thing, these stories are heard by people, transmitted just as we are having cosmopolitan clubs, golf club and other areas. The ancient people, they had Naimisharanya, Ganga, Prayaga and other places where they used to perform rituals, do penance or to do satsanga, discussion about the divine pastimes. That were their hobbies. So they used to discuss all of these things. That is not a secondary narration. Third thing is compilation. Somebody used to compile this thing. Like that, we had Vaishampayana, we had Sutta Puranika, we had Vedavyasa, we had Sukadeva, we had Narada, we had innumerable rishis like Harita, Yagyavalkya, Ushana, Angira, Apastamba, Vaishampayana, Katyayana, Brihaspati, Parashara, Kutsa, Shanka, Ligita, Daksha, Gautama, Pruku, Pulastya, innumerable people, they have been self-narrators as well as secondary narrators or transmitters of the message, which has been compiled by the Sutta Puranika as well as by Vyasa. It has been well dealt and ordained and distributed in a proper manner, and it has come into the way of Purana. There is a difference between Itihasa and Puranas. And Puranas have three major divisions. Number one, the first division is Vistara. Whatever you are seeing in the Vedas in a smaller form, it is expanded. It is Vistara. Second thing is Varnana. Something that is besoothing your aesthetic taste. Something that can pacify your emotions, or something that can feed your emotions of natural sceneries, understanding of emotions, understanding of characters. We have some taste. So something that is something connected with our own taste and its inclination, it is known as Varnana. Varnana is something, Varnana is an art by which something is made very much palatable and relishable to the community. So that is known as Varnana. Third thing is Nirupana. The Vedas say that God is all powerful, number one. It says that He is very kind, but it has no reference at all to whom He was kind. To whom, see, God is having Audharya, Gambhirya, Stairya, Virya, Parakrama, and various other qualities like Saugatya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, Saulibhya, Saukilya. Innumerable qualities are there. So qualities are there in record, just in name. To whom He has shown. So these Puranas give proof for the qualities of God. He has given to Kuchela, He has protected Ambarisha, He has protected Katwanga, He has protected Prithu Chakravarti, He has destroyed through the rishis Veda Chakravarti, He has destroyed Madhur Kedava. So Puranas that says that God is the slayer of the evil, and contributive justice will be given to the devotees. He is a forgiver of sins, He is a uplifter of all souls. All of these various opulential depository that has been explained for God without any proof that stands still, that will not captivate the minds of the people, especially of the Kali Yuga, to understand and worship God. So whatever the various other characteristic bondage between the soul and the supreme that has been depicted in the Vedas is proved in the Shastras in the form of Puranas. So Puranas are Vistara, explanatory treatises, Varnana, elaborated treatises. Third thing is Nirupana, it is the proof, it is the validation exercise for all the explanations or hints that have been given about the divine qualities, without which nobody will have proper adherence to God unless he is a Rishi or a Rishi born. Normal people cannot reach God without Puranas. Belief cannot be instilled in human beings without Puranas, because all the other Vedas take you to God, whereas Puranas bring God to your level by means of explanations of other people. So that is the source of inspiration that has reached to the society for development. Vedas deal with, number one, Tattva, what are the objects of reality? Number two, Srishti, how creation has been initiated, processed, and how it will end. The third thing, Devatas, what is celestial hierarchy? Sadhana, what are the various tools of worship of God? Phala, what are the benefits that we can get from God? So Vedas are explanations. What are the explanations? Alpokta, Gudhokta. Alpokta means something has been just hinted in Vedas, that is explained here. Gudhokta, something has been mentioned in the Vedas but not understandable. Here it has been made clear. Whatever that is latent and clandestine, that is made candid and obvious here, so that we can get the benefit out of it. That is known as Gudhokti. Veda has the Gudhokti. Then Anyokti. What is Anyokti or Anyatokti or Anyatrokti? There are innumerable Vedic portions I have already told. Most of the Vedas are not available now. We cannot get those portions. Even that reflections of the portions are available in the Puranas, so that even the obsolete portions, reflections and explanations we can have from the available Puranas. So the Vedas have Anyatrokti sadhana. It has Gurokti Vistara Sadhana, Alpokti Vistara Sadhana. That is the greatness of the Purana. Puranas are of three types. The Shastra says that Sankirnaha, Satvika Chaiva, Rajasa, Tamasachata, Kalpa Chatuvidha Prokta, Brahmuna Divasathe, Yaspin Kalpe Tuyat Proktam Puranam, Brahmana Pura, Tasya Tasya tu Mahatmam, Tasarupena Varnate, Agneshivasya Mahatmyam, Tamaseshu Prakityate, Rajasheshu Chakalpeshu Mahatmyam, Brahmano Viduhu. Sankirna Saraswatya Pitrunancha Nigatyate Satvikesh Vatakalpyeshu Mahatmyam Adhikam Harehe Teshveva Yogasam Siddhaha Gavishyanti Parangatim Nadhriyata Puranadhi Rajasam Tamasam Anishanam Pareshatvam Vrithayatra Upavaranyate. It is the Purana development, how Puranas have come. There are four moods for Brahma. Just as we are having human beings, they are having some mode, some anger mode, some drunken mode, some intoxicated mode, some perverted mode, some crooked mode, some facile mode, some exhausted mode. There are innumerable modes for human beings, depending on which we will approach the persons, provided they are very known to us and also favorable to us. We will approach them. Like this, Brahma is also having four moods. One is the Sankirna. Sankirna is a medley mood. Satvika is goodness and Rajasa, Tamasa, passion and ignorance. Based on this mood, he reveals the Purana. So, Vaishnavam, Naradiyam, Bhagavatam, Garudam, Padmam, all these Puranas. Vaishnavam means Vishnu Purana. Vaishnavam, Naradiyam cha, Tata Bhagavatam Subham, Garudam cha, Tata Padmam, Baraham Subhadarshane, Satvikani Puranani, Shadedani Nibodhavi. All these six Puranas are known as Satvikas, Satvika Purana. Brahmandam Brahmavirtam Markandeyam Tathaivacha Bhavishyam Vamanam Brahmam Rajasani Nibodhave. The six things are Rajasas. Matsyam Bhumam Tathalaikyam Shaivam Skandam Tathaivacha Agneyancha Shadedani Tamasani Nibodhave. These six things are known as Tamasas. So we have to understand the mood of Brahma, how much it is validated, how much they are authenticated, we have to access. Puranas are one problem. Vedas have one problem. These problems are due to our basic problem of nescience or insufficiency of intelligence. So if we are clinging to the lotus feet of an Acharya, we can overcome all problems. The problem for Vedas is interpretation problem. The problem for Puranas is evaluation problem. What is the rate of significance? What is the rate of seriousness that has been told in the Puranas? Because the Puranas, they have innumerable purposes. There are three purposes of Puranas, which I have to certainly mention here. One is as a Vardhaka, second is as a Bodhaka, third thing is as a Sthapaka. What is Bodhaka? It teaches you ethics, how to behave, how to worship your elders, how to worship cow, how to go for a pilgrimage, how to deal with the sacred rivers. All of these things are Bodhakas. In that there is no contradiction at all. Vardhaka, the Puranas, they have one important job. There are innumerable deities and innumerable systems of worship. So the Puranas, they have to instill faith on each and every deity, whether it is a demigod, semigod, sub-god or sarat god. It is the duty of all of these Puranas to instill the faith, explain about the nature, explain about the all backgrounds of the deities and to develop that faith. That is known as Vardhaka. The third thing is Sthapaka. It has to establish the real faith. So there are three problems. One is the Bodhaka problem. There is no contradiction at all. In the Vardhaka problem, there are each and every Ganesha Purana, you see, it says that Ganesha is everything and everything came from Ganesha. In Krishna Purana, it says that Vishnu is everything and everything came from Vishnu. So a normal person, even a rational and prudent person, even the Westerners, they were very confused. Persons like Coolbrook and H.H. Wilson, who translated the Puranas, they said that Puranas have not come to any conclusion. Puranas have no ideology which is having a very strong framework and sturdity. It does not develop any monotheistic framework as well as it does not develop sturdity in the mind of spiritual practitioners. That is the commentary given by H.H. Wilson, but it is not like that. Vedas having the Vardhaka, it has all problems. For example, if there is a society, the government develops also various other medical services. That is known as Vardhaka. It develops medical services. But what is the particular ideology of the government to make the society disease free? To make the society disease free is the purpose of the government. But still, any other medications, preventive things, everything will be done. So, understanding the Paramatma or the Brahman, even though that is the Sthapaka duty of the Purana, all people cannot be blindly suitable to for that project and all the persons cannot so much be accommodated inside the very great Brahman's realization and understanding. Each and everybody in the Sopana, in the ladder, in which they have to gradually ascend to the Paramatman, they have to worship various other deities and come to the Brahman. So, it is the confrontation that exists between, difference that exists between the Vardhaka duty as well as the Sthapaka duty which Wilson failed to understand. So Vardhaka duty of the Puranas is, if you are worshipping some deities, instill faith, gradually move there, enjoy it, then gradually be promoted and reach the second deity. Shankarasya Tiyo Bhaktaha, Sapta Janmantaranara, Tasya Vidu Prasadena Vishnu Bhakta Prajayate. Suryasya Tiyo Bhaktaha, Sapta Janmantaranara, Tasya Vidu Prasadena Rudra Bhakta Prajayate. Like that, the worship ladder, it makes the person to reach the next step, gradually promoted. It is our nature. It is the Satvika Rajasa Tamasa nature. So this is fail to understand. Then when coming to the real value of understanding, there are innumerable conflicts between Purana. I think that it should be a separate seminar for 2 or 3 days, epistemology of Puranas, metaphysics of Puranas. Certainly it should be having a lot of divisions. I will try to jump with the stage evasion and risk reduction and complete this soon. Number 1, the full Vedas, they consist of more reference to Indra, Vayu, Agni, Marut, Pusha, Aryaman, Vishvedevas. All the Puranic deities, they have a trivial role or insufficient role in the Vedas. So it has resulted in the formation of 3 schools of thought. One is the Paramyavada, second is Paryayavada, third thing is Parinamavada. What is Paramyavada? Lot of people like even this Agnihotra Ramanuja Tattacharya and other non-residential Indians, they developed a lot of commentaries. In which he told that Indra and Agni are real deities of the Vedic period. And Vishnu was gaining inferior status, Rudra and Vishnu. Later on, some admirers of this Vishnu, they projected Vishnu and created Vaishnavism, and this Shaivism is also promoted like that. It is known as Paramyavada. And Paryayavada is more confusing. Lot of people are there, there are advocates. For example, Max Muller is an advocate for that. A.B. Keith, E.B. Cowell, Theodore Goldstucker, they are the advocates for the same thing, Paryayavada. They clearly told Vishnu is none but the Surya. It is the name for the Surya. Like that, Rudra means it is Agni. And this has been confused by the modern people. That is their statement. The third thing is Parinamavada. What is Parinamavada? There was worship of Vishnu and Shaivism also, but gradually they attained prominence. Instead of totally negating the worship, gradual prominence has been accepted by Parinamavada. Fourth thing is Praudhavada, which is the Vada of Advaita, Dvaita, Vishishta, Advaita. What they told is, Indra means that it represents only Paramatma or Brahman. Without Mimamsa, you cannot understand the Vedas. Mimamsa says that the person, Vipra Baudha Vadanti, a person who is called by Indra, Agni, Varuna, Surya and other names is none but the Brahman. So by the Indra Pranadhikarana of the Uttara Mimamsa, by the sutras known as Avastiteriti Kashatrusnaha, Sakshadapya Virodham Jaiminihi. The glorification is done through the form of the deities. The real glory goes only to the Brahman. Whenever we are honoring a person who is mounted on a throne or who is mounted in a horse, if a person is garlanded and treated, it is for the person only, not for the throne or the particular horse in which he is mounted. Like that, Brahman is treated. It is known as Praudhavada. So we have to understand, lot of people say that there is a contradiction between Vedas and Puranas, and Puranas are separate evolutions which are contradictory to the knowledge status of the Vedas. Lot of people are there confusing even within the theistic and Vedic traditions. We have to understand. The fifth thing is Shanmata Vichara. There is a normal proclamation in the society of Shanmatas. There is no such thing known as Shanmata at all. Mata is not worship. If you say if there is a Mata, Managyane, Manavabhodhane, it means worshipping a deity as supreme. Cause of the word is known as Mata. Just worshipping, if it becomes a Mata, then there may be Aindra Mata, there may be Vayavya Mata, there may be Prithvi Mata, Akash Mata. Mere worship cannot create Mata. Mata means the head of the Mata should be the supreme, at least considered to be supreme by the particular religious followers. Shaiva is a Mata because the Shaivites, they believe that Shiva is the supreme. Vaishnavites, they belong to a Mata because they say that Vishnu is the supreme. But Ganapatya is something very, very quite new. I want to say something, that there is no reference of Ganapati in all the Vedas and all the Puranas. Even Gananam Tva Ganapatikam Havamahe, that says that you are the Ganadipati in the Ganas, and even all the Vedic Suktas are having their own address. Rishi, Devata, Chandas, so that you cannot do any interpolation, any other criminal exercise you cannot do. So as a mischief proof, already it has been counted with letters and carved and caged between the Devatas, Rishi, Chandas and all other parameters. So it has the deity known as Brahmanaspati, who has nothing to do with this Ganapati at all. And even in the Mahabharata, while Srishti is done, Shiva's Skandasam Bahuva Yata Srishti Chaturkayam. From Shiva's Skanda came. So says the Mahabharata Adi Purva. So Vinayaka is a later interpretation, and Ganapati Purana is not included even in the Ashtadasha Upapuranas. So there is no possibility for Ganapatya. Kaumara, it is very well known that Kumara is created by Shiva. Somebody who is created and son, mother, father, how they can be heads of various religions which hate supremacy. So it is a type of worship, not worship as a supreme personality of Godhead. So Kaumara is unqualified to be recognized as a strong matam. You may worship Kumar or Kartikeya. That does not mean that the status can be given for that religion to be called as a mata. It is impossible. Shakta also is of recent region of 6 centuries ago. Devi Bhagavata is not included in the Ashtadasha Upapuranas also. In Madhaviya Sarvadarshana Sangraha, in Vedanta Deshika's Paramata Kandana, you see, if there is a mata, if there is a religion, the supporters would have quoted for support, and the condemning people, opposing people, at least they would have quoted for opposition. There are innumerable condemning and opposing treatises have been done. Paramata Kandana, Swapaksha Nirupana, Paramata Viveka, Vidya Tattvartha Viveka, Sampradaya Chandrika, Sarva Sampradaya Chandrika, Jagat Sampradaya Chandrika, Vaidika Chandrika, Vaidika Parijata, Sarvamata Sangraha, Sarvamata Tattva Darshana, Sarva Mata Darsha, innumerable things are there. So none of these prominent religions that have been quoted, condemned or supported in this thing, they don't have any trace of this Shakta, Ganapati or Kaumara, but they have about the Pashupata or the Saivamata. So Puranas, if you want to understand the spiritual dimension of Puranas, you should understand that the deity glorification or deification, that has major things to be proclaimed between only Shaiva and Vaishnavas. And there are innumerable vadas, like each and every prana will glorify each and every deity. Based on, I've already told, based on your taste, you select and you still faith. And it should be very much rational and logical. As Vaishnavas, there are innumerable treatises written. Vedanta Kaustubha is a treatise written for establishing the supremacy of Vishnu. Vishnu Dveshakara Mahashaiva Matamardana is written by Tirvishanallu Ramasubha Shastri. Vishnu Tattva Nirnaya is written by Sri Madhvacharya. Shiva Tattva Viveka, Shivarkamani Deepika is written by Appaya Dikshita. They are quoted in Shruti Sukti Malika is written by Haradatta Sivacharya. Whenever we are going through our religion, we should go through all of these things. It is an intellectual feast. It is a feast. It is a process of giving you a feast, not converting you to a beast and quarrel with others and make problems in society. So, whenever I go through the contradictions and the combat, the intellectual war of words and logic, I was very happy. I was feeling how they are dealing with the nuances, the minutest observations, each and every word, how they are doing. Shankara was very much particular in this Vaishnavism, in promoting Vishnu Paramya. So Bharadatta Sivacharya, Appaya Dikshita, they promoted their own religions. And in our Vishnu Tattva Nirnaya, we told a few things. Number one is Banasuravadha. In Banasuravadha, it has been told that Shiva prayed to Vishnu, and then totally the Yuddha was put into pacification. The Yuddha was put to an end. I'm restless by this song. Just 10 minutes I have to rush. These deities and the quarrel about the supremacy of the deities, we have some other angas also. The first anga is Kulajati Vichara. Kulajati Vichara is Narada says in Srimad Bhagavata that he was the son of a servant maid. Servant maid who was serving to great rishis in the forest. Narada was born as a son. And while he was doing some assistance to his mother, he was so keen, inquisitive to listen about the discussions and debates that were going on with the other rishis that are accompanying the householder. The householder was a rishi, and no doubt the householder must have attracted a lot of rishis for Satseva. So all of these visitors, they used to discuss and debate and enjoy divine wisdom. So the person, a servant's son, by hearing and developing inquisitiveness, interest, involvement and inspiration, 4 levels of upgradation of spiritual knowledge. Interest, then involvement, then inspiration. He has got it. So by this methodology, he has not become a member of a good family. He has not become a rich person. He has not become a king. He has become Brahmaputra Narada. That's what I told. There are 3 things I have quoted in various other lectures. Number 1, by proper worship, Devaki got Krishna as the son. And Satyabhama and Veera and Anda, these people got the God as their husband. So there is a provision to be with God or to beget God in our religion. So to get God-like people and bestowed, God gifted people is very easy. Even if you can demand a God to be your own son, why can't you demand the God's immanence on your children and your generations? That's the easiest possibility. This is rule number one. Number two, Narada initiated the embryo, the fetus of a Danava, a Daitya, an Asuric, demonic, devilish, fiendish element. Hiranyakashipu was the fiendish element. But the fiendish element, progenic matter, was induced by Narada. He becomes a sadhunam sadhu. So if there is a provision to convert a fiendish imp into a very great devotee, why can't we be converted? There is a possibility of transformation. Number two. So there is a possibility to convert even a demon into devotee. By removing MON to put VOTEE, it is very easy as converting by erasing the letters and replacing the other letters. So it has been already done. There is a possibility for that. And third thing is, if you are having proper devotion, truthful surrender and commitment, a servant-made son can become a Narada, he can become even Brahma, somebody can become Rudra. So these three assurances. One, we can get a godly environment, number one. Number two, we can get miraculous transformation, number two. Third thing, we can be exalted to any height provided we are truthful and associated with the proper people. This is the lesson of the Puranas. Kula and Achara. Apart from that, Sadachara, how to behave. Snana, Asaucha, Tirthadana, Nitya Pujana, Pati Seva, Sati Seva, Putra Seva, Rajya Seva, Pitru Seva, Aradhana, Devataruna, all of these things they come under Sadachara. It is also a part. Then Viveka, how to utilize your knowledge, understand about the world, epistemology, cosmology, metaphysics, everything is there. Vijnana, we have various other representations from other planets also. Exobiosis, symbiosis, innumerability of planets, astronomical quotations, astrological quotations, positions of zodiacs, eclipses and mutual constellations, and supernova, hypernova particles, and various other things have been mentioned in the Puranas. Andanam to Sahasranam, Ayudhanam to Asankyatam. Innumerable planetary positions are there, innumerable constellations, then solar families, galaxies, super galaxies, hyper galaxies and cosmo galaxies. Innumerable elements are there in the world. So we have to take medicine, metallurgy, astronomy, astrology, economy, political administration. We can take also innumerable sciences, but they are eschatology. Remedial exercises are there. Innumerable prognosticatory, remedial and guideline exercises like Vastu, Pariyara, Prayashita is there. They are known as occult and positive sciences. Apart from which we can also take these sciences. Various other 6 divisions, we can take it as a separate thing. There are 4 schools of thought of Puranas. One is the ethical study. Second is the exact study. Exact study means you take the Puranas as it is. Second thing is don't take as it is. It is just to give some ethical imprint on you. Third thing is allegorical. There was no Ravana, there was no Rama. It is just allegorical. It represents the truth, it represents falsity. Everything is there. Fourth thing is fraudulence. Everything is fictional. It has been framed by some people for getting their self-benefit by Brahmins. So it is known as a fictional presentation or a fictional ideology about the Puranas. Because Puranas have special things. Number one is incredibility. Second is impossibility. Third thing is evasion. Fourth thing is exaggeration. Once we have to construct a very strong network of this Puranic encyclopedia in the presence of rationalists and analysts, not with the devotee people who are always hand clappers and head nodders. We should invite some other people who can test it, because Puranas say about something which we cannot believe. Asadhya, asambhava, anupalabdhi. That which does not exist, that which cannot exist, that which may be but not to that level, that is exaggeration. Most of the modern sciences are not dealt, that is known as evasion. So there should be a separate seminar for reconciliation of the evasion, exaggeration, incredibility and impossibility factors of the Puranas. There are 2 things. For example, Shabda is the starting point for everything. Because Akash, Advayu, so everything started by the first Tanmatra Shabda. The Shabda when coming inside, that is undergoing 2 things. One is compression, second is suppression. When it is compressed, it becomes music. When it is suppressed, it becomes Varna. Varna Swara. Varnaha Swara. So by compression and suppression, we can create. How we are doing that? For example, Nabhigrit Kantarashana Nasha Tulayanta Shobhivu. So says Tyagaraja. So these are the various stations for giving the pressurization to distinct the tonal scale and pitch of our sounds, which are demarcated by their own areas, classified highly designated as Swarasthanas. Octave, what we call an octave. Likewise, if you suppress the same thing by means of your nasal punch, as well as your tongue, as well as your talu, the jaws, as well as the dantya, aushtya, we used to say labial, dental, guttural, innumerable things are there in phonetics. This pressure has resulted in varna. This varna has resulted in pada, akshara sandhi, padanmaya, vakya, chandobadha, gadya, everything, which has emancipated the rules. Which has emancipated the rules of our ucharana, anucharana and pratyucharana, which has created a very big industry of literature. So Varna is the source of literature in Puranas and Swara is the source of literature in music. So Varna and Swara, they are the same brothers coming out of the same cord, which is there by means of respectively compression and suppression. If it is by Chanda, Pada Padakshara Padanmaya Parasparya, if it comes, it becomes Bhasha. Then if it becomes Bhasha, then the Bhasha becomes two things, Nirupadhika, Sopadhika. Nirupadhika means Veda, Sopadhika means languages. In the Vedas also, Nirupadhika, Sopadhika, Sopadhika, Sopadhika. Sopadhika, Sopadhika are Kadidasa Krityas. Nirupadhika Sopadhikas are Itihasa Purana Dharmadhamtras, which are based on the Vedic scriptures. If you go into the ragas, it goes into Grama, Murchana, Niyama, Aradhana, Alapana, Sanchara, Vistriti, Sankocha, Avasana, Virama, Krama, all of these things come under musicology. So you take a swara, then that is a grama, you make it as a beginning, then Avasana, you fix its ending also, then Murchana, you induce pressure, you induce the mellifluity by means of respective pressures on their locations. Then Sanchara by a niyama, that you have to touch something, how to touch, what to touch, how much to touch. What to touch is known as Upadeya. How much to touch is known as Grahya. How long to touch is known as Kampa. All of these things they form. For example, if you got touch something, that means that is a Nisheda Swara or Vajya Swara in the raga. If you make more gamagas, that will lead to some other raga, or that may create ananurupa or uncreasingness for the same raga. So this is the evolution of these ragas. So this type of music, that divine music that has come from the divine contribution, it has been told in the Shastras that Adanam, Bhashanam, Ganam, Sthavanam. All animals they can eat. That is the first use of mouth. Second thing is Pujana, they can make sounds. That is the second thing. Third thing is Bhashana, to speak. Fourth thing is Gana, to sing. Fifth is Thavana, to make the same thing in praise of God. So, it is the basic gift of God to eat. If you use the mouth for eating, that is Adhama Prayoga. Making sound, that is Madhyama Adhama Prayoga. If you just talk, that is Madhyama Prayoga. If you can also sing, that is Madhyama Uttama Prayoga. If you can sing in the praise of God, that is Uttama Uttama Prayoga. The greatness of music. How music, innumerable ragas are brought. Number one, by means of Veda. That is the Veda of Shuddha and Prati. Shuddha Swaras and Prati Swaras. That creates 32 ragas. We don't accept the 72 ragas of Venkatamahi because raga itself by the Katapayadi, Ra means Katapayadi, Ra gives 2 and Ga gives 3. So it is made into reciprocation, then it gives 32. So the raga term itself says that there are the Janani ragas of 32 and any other intervention or interception of the 40 more ragas by producing Vivadi Swaras are totally against the rules of the Sangeeta Shastra, which Venkatamahi has already implanted in the society, making more confusion. They may be considered as Bhashanga, they cannot be considered as the Janani raga. So by Veda, we can produce ragas. By Veda, by the Swara Veda. Second thing is Varjya. By avoiding few swaras, we can produce innumerable ragas. Bhashanga. By advocating the two types of the same swara, Prati and Shuddha, we can bring ragas. Then we can bring innumerable ragas by means of Vakra Prayoga. For example, you are having Sagama Panisa, Sanika Magarisa, Samadama Panisa, Sanika Magarisa, Sagarima Panisa, Sanika Magarisa for Ketaram, for Purna Kanti, as well as for the other raga, Nadina Kanti, Sagarima Panisa, Sanika Magarisa. So this Sagarima, it creates a new raga. So this Vakra Prayoga, likewise Vajja Prayoga, Vakra Prayoga, Bheda Prayoga, Murchana Prayoga, Ghamara Prayoga. For example, the Arabi of the yesteryears, Rere Sri Rama, that Gita, all of the people they may be chanting. That real Arabi does not have Nishada. That was only considered to be an Audava Shadava Raga. In the same thing, the same Arohana with the same difference. The very simplest difference of Magari is Arabic, Magari, Sama. The same surah. Like that we can create 2 lakh ragas from existing ragas. Same raga, giving some sort of pressure, some induction to the swaras in the slightest difference, we can get a simpler benefit. Having a wide cleavage in the representation. You know that how Sama and Arabi they are different in rendering, you know that. So likewise this Vajya, Vakra, Krafya, Murchana, Arama, Virama, Grama Veda, Nishita Veda, Sankrama Veda, Viveda, this has created more than, according to us, there are more than 5 or 6 crores of ragas with their own differences. Even there is Swarantya. If you go up to Daivata, there is a raga. For example, there is Kurunji, there is Manji, there is Siddharantini, there is Sensurity. What are that? They are Swarantyas. Adasarigamapa, Pamagari Zanida. Adasarigamapa, Pamagari Zanida. Isarigamapa, Pamagari Zanida. So for this we can create 3 ragas. There are Swarantya ragas. So innumerable we can create. More than that, music is the gift of God. See, it is why we used to say, if God has not created music, we will never accept God or we will never love God. Because of 3 reasons. Number 1, we are always with lot of erosions and eruptions inside human mind. Unless we have a music, some inbuilt melody, some external influential melody of music, we will become a beast, we will become a lunatic, we will become totally pathetic. There are only 3 options. Any person without music will remain as a critic, pathetic or lunatic. There is no other way. That is the one thing. Number 2, if you don't love music, you cannot love yourself, you cannot love nature, you cannot love your fellow human being, you cannot love God. That is the second thing. So, music is a panacea for all of your forthcoming diseases and existing diseases. It is a curative for existing disease, preventive for forthcoming disease. And it also builds relation through music. Only thing required is you must be Sitavara Sangeeta Jnanamunaku Dhata Prayavala. So says Tyagaraja. Specially Brahma has written everything for us, but specially he has to write in our head that we have to love and taste music. So only thing is you must be music sensitive, you must be prone to the musical melody as well as the contributive or salubrious tsunami of the music inflow inside you. You should have that particular taste inside. If you have that, you can bring everything. For example, whatever you want, global welfare, global economic recession, and global warming, international relations, interreligious harmony, everything you can do by music. Provided you should have that hyper, supra sensitivity to induce music on others. You should love as well as induce that music. That's why Tyagaraja says, by performing different rituals and pujas, we can get benefit. By self-restraint, we can get benefit. By renunciation, we can get benefit. By enjoying everything by charity, we can get benefit. Getting benefit has only 4 ways. One is by rituals and performances. Second is by means of self-restraint with contentment. Third thing is total relinquishment. Fourth thing is share with everybody and be joyous in charity and in altruism. And Tyagaraja mentions that the first is Yaga, second is Yoga, third is Tyaga, fourth is Bhoga. And he says that Yaga, Yoga, Tyaga, Bhoga, Palam, Sakya, Raga, Sudhaga, So this Yaga, Yoga, Tyaga, Bhoga, these 4 things, if you want a supermarket where we can purchase everything at 100% discount and 25% incentive, that is a musical store. And there are 3 types of music. Number 1, that which can activate your body, that which can activate your mind, that which can stir your soul. For example, God has created various other demarcations. For example, if there is a folk song, all the people, those who are in the rural industry, they are having physical tiredness, physical fatigue and physical exertion. So he has created a limited ambit of musical sojourn or notular sojourn by which they can get some comfort for their physical relief. Second thing is light music, that is for mind relief. For spiritual rejoicement, God has given Karnataka Sangeeta or Sangeeta Shastra. So Gita is song. And Sangeeta, Samyak Giyate, Atma Yena Trupyate Trupyati Tad Gita. Sangeetam, Sangeetam. If you sing, if you get some sort of solace in your solitude, some sort of embracement at the time of your despair, some sort of lifting hand at the time of your distress, if you get some sort of vibrant energy with which you can work more, you can recreate yourself in your recreation, whenever you feel happy, whenever you are getting into good appetite, sleep, digestion, etc., that is known as Gita, that which promotes the spiritual inner rejoicement by which you can realize God, and it's in the same honor, that is known as Sangeeta. So it is having a vast difference. So first thing is Sharira, that which is only for the body. Second is Manasika, for the mind. And third thing is for the spiritual development. And there are innumerable divisions in these things also. Number one, what are the impact of Sangeeta? Number one, Nischalana. By hearing something, you can become inert. Then second thing is Angavikriya, you can dance and move. Amodana, appreciation. Rodana, you can cry. Prakarsha, you can expose your face with joy. So there are innumerable expositions of music. One is Kampana, shaking, and Stuti, we can praise the God, and Udgoshana, aha, oh. That is known as Udgoshana. So there are innumerable expositions known as Vikaras. There may be Angavikriya, Bhavavikriya, Rodhana, Mauna, Stuvana, Stavana, Udgoshana, Nischalana, innumerable things are there. There are expositions of good music. And coming to the real point of understanding music, that which makes your body to dance, that which makes your body to rest, that which makes your mind to rest, that which makes your mind to dance, that which makes your spirit to be in solace, to dance. Everything is there. In spiritual dance also, there are some dances we are seeing. Hysteric dances are there, historical dances are there, hypocritic dances are there, hypertensional dances are there, innumerable type of dances are there. We are seeing different dances in different temples. Whenever somebody beats the drum, somebody is dancing. Whenever some music is there, somebody is dancing. Innumerable dances are there. Even in club dances and modern dances, we are hearing a lot of fusions and various other things we are enjoying. But if it is for, there is a quality of distilling the greatness or superiority of the impact of good music. Good music brings you good anubhuti, good inner experience, transformation, and it makes your mind crystal clear so that new revelations are made. That which preserves your knowledge is mediocre, that which diminishes your knowledge is inferior, that which boosts your knowledge to love more, to learn more, that knowledge is not superior. So most of the dancers now, they don't give any hope and scope to the mind and spirit. They make only to have a physical alert as if you are electrified. So it is just an electrification. Wherever that's what I told. There are a lot of musics. Then I told in one seminar, just for a fun, I told, we can immediately make a person to sing and dance with water. Pour chill water on him, in the upper side he will sing. Pour hot water down, he will dance. So this is just to say that just oscillating your vocal cord and moving your limbs and hands, that does not sufficiently represent the art of music and dance. That should have an inner message. That's what I wanted to say. Shastra says very importantly you have to understand. Shuddh. Shuddh means hunger. Tripti means satisfaction. Jirna means digestion. It is common to a pig. It is common to a pig with a cow, with a dog, even with a human being, a raja, a bhogi, a drogi, rogi. Everybody they are having the appetite, they are having the digestion, they are having the satisfaction. But the nature of the food is different. When dog is eating its food and pig is specially eating its food, it is thinking that it is also having the same taste as a king is taking his own food, and the appetite, satisfaction, everything is the same. Likewise, music also, there are a lot of people, it is what we call in the Shastras as Raja Praja Sukara Swana Nyaya. Raja Praja Sukara Swana Nyaya. Likewise, anybody who is dancing like Michael Jackson, they think that is also music and that is also giving them joy and pleasure. Anybody doing light music with gentle movement, they are also thinking the same. Light music, fusion mechanics, they are also thinking fusion, conversion, transformation, alignment, instigation, hyper mixing. Innumerable things are done by the city musicians, people, whenever they take Kalyani and composing, they see that either them or the Kalyani that exists. It has become the mutual competitor challenge with the people. So they also think. So even the limited people they think, the committed people they think, those who are omitted people they also think, and the omitting people they also think the same. So it is known as Raja Praja Sukara Swana Nyaya, in which we all think that everything is music, everything gives joy, everything gives peace, and everything is an art. It is not like that. According to the sense of common attitude or understanding the divine evaluation, whatever our Shastras have given as a portion of Vedas, there are two things. Coming down to your level and feast to your temptations will spoil you and also the other person. Instead of, that's what all the people are saying now. If musicians are all, they say that people are asking, so we are doing that. It is not the duty. If your son is asking, a small infant is asking for a fire so that it is very glittering and attractive, will you hand over the fire? We should teach that it is fire, it should be enjoyed and properly used for cooking and not for touching. So likewise, promoting the senses, promoting the aesthetic sense is the duty of the government, good people and talented people, and not satisfying or propitiating their temptations and exploiting them and doing in one area in reputation and in reward and various other things. It is not the purpose of the real people who are in art. So the real art is they must try to understand what is the hita for the people, not what is the priya of the people. We must not go with the taste of the people. We must go about their natural inclination as per the injections given in the Vedas. We should offer them the taste to deal with the real sense of music. That is a very great thing. And Kugati Vigati they used to say, whenever there is an experiment made in one paranormal exercise. Somebody played Kalyani and it was connected to auto writing. Then automatically when Kalyani was properly composed and rendered, it drew the picture of a dancing girl. The same Kalyani was intermittently, that is shattered into pieces without any proper prominence for the rules and principles. Then it is just rendered in a break form, jazz form, acid form, pop form, the modern forms. It has been rendered. So the same thing, deformed, unorganized structure of a girl with nose on the back and eyes on the belly, it was drawn on the way. So it is naturally happening. The Shastra says that whenever you properly approach, for example, if you have Sarika Padasa Sadapa Garisa, you cannot just draw Mohan with that. Where to start, how to use, what is Naikatya, how to show prominence for Swaras. And how to differentiate the raga with the proximate ragas. How to show difference, how to show similarity, how to show proximity, how to show intimacy, how to show the uniqueness of Mohana. For example, Sarika Padasa means the same Padasa that is there in all ragas. Kamboji has the same Padasa, Yadugula Kamboji has the same Padasa, and Sagama Padasa, Nagaswaravadi has the same Padasa. So you should establish the uniqueness. So establishing proximity, disparity, intimacy, similarity as well as uniqueness of the swaras, that is handling the ragas, that can be got only through Ghatakas. Narada Maharishi gave the Ghatakas as well as the Swararnava and Sangeeta Makaranta to Narada, this Tyagaraja Swami. So Narada being a blemishless person in the lineage, he offered the Ghatakas which give us how to form the real shape of a raga, which is not known to these people at all. So we should know about the Rasa, Rasagnya and Rasika. Proper Rasikas, proper Rasa and proper Rasagnya, who is the singer, that is not known. So in this Sangeeta, there are three gifts. To be a Rasika is a gift. To know the Rasa is also a gift. To render a proper Rasa is also a gift. This gift has resulted in three major, some other benefits. Number one, Prabhava, Udbhava and Samudbhava. If you can sing, that is known as Prabhava. If you can expose your feelings, that is known as Udbhava. If you can expose your feelings in the form of a song in a language, along with the swaras inborn, that is Samudbhava. That Samudbhava people, they are known as Vagayakaras. I can expose my feelings. I can expose my musical skill. If I can expose my musical skill along with my feelings, which are incorporated into a linguistic structure, out of spontaneity, out of immanence, out of innate nature, then I am known as a Vagayakara. It is by Chintana. Somebody may think it may come. It is known as Chintana. Abhyasa, by writing, then tearing of the papers and pieces, then rewriting, that is known as Vichara, by deep meditation. Pravahana, that casually flows like a cascade, that is Pravahana. Fifth thing is Avirbhava, God himself comes inside and everything comes. If God comes inside, then all the words, all the ragas and all the swaras, naturally with the tada. Now anybody singing, they concentrate more upon the raga, the laya and the appreciation of the audience rather than the vastu. That is the purpose of that Sangeeta is God. They don't have any time to think at all. If they have thought about the God, then naturally appreciation from the audience, naturally the Laya coincidence, naturally the Swara coincidence, Bhashaucharana coincidence, Gamaka Sangati, Varika Samdhati, Neraval, everything will automatically, spontaneously inflow inside. So Vagayakaras are special people. You have to distinguish all Vagayakaras. Tyagaraja Swami, Ramadasa, their Vagayatva is a little different. There are a lot of Nipunas. Annamacharya's Kirtanas in Telugu, it has a good poetic style, more than Tyagaraja and Ramadasa. But regarding the taste of bhava, whatever that is there in Tyagaraja and Ramadasa, you cannot find a trace of the same thing in Annamacharya. So there are three things. One is stavana, praising God. Second thing is bodhana, philosophical things. Manasa sancharare, dvaitamu sukama, sukhi akkare. These things are known as bodhanas. Yenduku peddala buddhi. They are known as stuti means samajavaragamana, parimalaranganatham bhajeham, Srirangapura vihara. These things are mere stotras. Just calling the words and making stotras. But parasparya, mutual conversation with God. Rarama inti dakar. So they are speaking with God. So with music they have brought God. The mighty mountain has been made as a molten wax wax by means of the transcendental devotion. So that type of parasparya is more in Tyagaraja. That type of parasparya is more only in Tyagaraja. We can create a nutana compositions, innumerable things we can make, but they cannot equate their own relishing or their own renaissance cannot be brought by these things. There are three people, Pratibhamba, second person is Chaya, third person is Rekha or Shaka. Pratibhamba means only those who are devoted to these Vagyakaras, they can reproduce their emotions in the form of good sahityas. And Chaya means those who are very much having Nadopasana, etc. Those people they can bring. Shaka and Rekha, those people they are having a tint of some devotion. With devotion they can bring. So those who are devoted, if they bring composition, that is known as Shaka Rekha. If the persons are devoted to the Vagyakaras themselves, those people they are known as Pratibhimbas. Those who are having their love and surrender towards Nadopasana or the deity, those people are known as Chaya. Pratibhimba, Chaya, Chaka, Shaka, Rekha. So these are all the various classifications of producing. This is known as Nutanotpatti Nyaya, by producing new people. So what is the use of these rendering? It is known as sadharmya. If you really relish this inside the mind, thinking about them, see, connecting yourself with God is distant, but connecting yourself with Vagyakaras is easy. And as they are connected with God, your connection with God is also easily possible. You are not connected with the satellite directly. You are connected with the server which is connected with the satellite. So whenever you are connecting yourself with the server, you are automatically connected with the satellite and getting the provisional benefits. So connecting with Vagyakaras are having three benefits. Number one, tapasya, swadhyaya, rendering penance and Vedic reception is very arduous, Herculean exercise. Music is simple, music is sweet, music is short, music is smart, music is stylish. So we can easily cling to their lotus feet and relish God. And any person doing that upasana, automatically Sangeeta Jnana, Rasa Jnana, Laya Jnana, Bhava Jnana, Parikalpana Jnana. Whatever we are doing is Parikalpana. We are composing, thinking and doing something. These things will automatically come out of a person. So for a person to become a Layajna, Ragajna, Bhavajna, Dhadajna and Bhagavat Tattvajna, and who can be a beneficiary to the whole musical industry as well as to other people, which is very easily possible only with those people, those who are non-poetic, those who are theistic, not poetic. Dikshita, Shyama Shastri, even though they are devoted, they more belong to the theistic and poetic parampara. There is Tyagaraja and Bhadrachala Ramadasa, people like that. They belong to ecstatic parampara in which they dwelt in trance, experienced and enjoyed God more than Ajnana, Ashakti and Anadi Janma Shrita Papa. We are having only three things to give to them. One is Ajnana, to submit our ignorance. Second is to submit our inability to them. The third thing is we have very much accumulated a heap of insatiable papas, the sin bundle. We are only having these three things to give. At least I think that we can do innumerable things like musicometry, musicology, paleomusicology, ontomusicology, ethnomusicology, biomusicology, musiconomy, musiconics, musicotherapy, innumerable divisions of music are there. But still, that is all intellectual feast. But for our spirit, only thing what we can do is close your eyes. There are three types of music: Sabha Sangeeta, Samaja Sangeeta, Sannidhi Sangeeta. Wherever we are going for great appreciations in the form of Padma Bhushan, I told one person told to me that that person was given Padma Shri, but totally he is a rascal, he is unfit. Then I told that we can convert the title Padma Shri. Padmash. So like that, getting something for their appreciation from Sabha. Sabha means elite circle, empirical circle. That is known as Sabha Sangeeta. Samaja Sangeeta means clapping, fans club, everything, etc. Sannidhi Sangeeta means where God says that totally immersed in Sabha and Samaja, because now we are all new devotees. We are very much having a former relative known as Maya to us. Naturally, she will be kindling us to go always to the Sabha and Samaja rather than Sannidhi. But we have to think the life of Tyagaraja and other great people so that we will be appreciated, applauded, associated and embraced by the Holy Spirit, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Sarva Rasovai Saha, Sarva Rasaha, so says the Vedas. So God is the real fruit of music, God is the root of music, God is the root, R-O-U-T of music, so everything is God. So we have to appreciate Him by music. Music is the best way, and we have to say that we are most gifted, because gifted people are born as human beings. More gifted people are born as theists, worshipping and believing God. The most gifted people only can sing, relish and propagate music. We are all most gifted people. Let us thank God for His gift, and let us also pray that